Right, hi everyone. As you know, I picked up a new 2023 NC750X, and the new models for this year come in a matte paint rather than a gloss one. And this is the first time I've had a bike that's been with matte paint. And having a look around and doing a bit of research, you've got to look after that matte paint in a slightly different way. Now, hopefully most of the new owners will be aware of this, but if not, this will hopefully save them making some mistakes in the care of their bike. So what is the main difference between matte paint and gloss paint? Well, if you was to, and I've just done some research on this, it's not like I'm an expert. If you look at the way in which the matte paint is constructed, particularly under a microscope, apparently the peaks of the paint are quite tall, and that creates sort of like little valleys in between each of the molecules, and that what creates the matte finish, where on gloss paint they're much closer together and those peaks are less pronounced. So one of the problems that you can have looking after that is that if you are to start to wash it or do a lot of swirling motions in the way that you care for your paint, you can take those peaks off, and what that can do is start to spoil the finish and the look of the finish, and also start to polish spots into that paint, which is once it's done, it can't be recovered. If you add sort of gloss paint and you've got a scratch, then you can obviously T-cut those out. It's impossible to do that with matte paint. You'll make the matters worse. So looking after it is important. Try to polish it try to wash it using sort of vertical and horizontal strikes rather than circular motions, and please don't use any of the traditional paint polishes and waxes that you may be used to using. There's loads of products out on the market that you can use. This is one that I chose. It's not because it's particularly good or different. It's just a matte paint cleaner. I've used it already. It comes out quite well. The other thing that's really important is that you use clean cloths. If you've dropped them on the floor and picked up bits of grit, I know this is obvious, but it's worth mentioning, then you've got a chance of polishing that dirt into the paint. And like I say, once the scratch is in there, you ain't getting it out with matte paint. So use clean cloths, and this stuff is it just sort of smears on and it evaporates. So if you just do something like that, vertical strikes, you can see it cleans the paint quite well. You can use it on your plastics as well. It's not going to do any harm, and you can start to see, hopefully, that it will start to evaporate and it will go back to that matte finish. If you used a traditional polish, that wouldn't happen, and you're likely to take the peaks off of that matte paint. And once you've done that, there's no going back. You can see there that some of the areas here where it's got in deep haven't evaporated. I just sort of wipe them off with a clean cloth, and you can see they will start to disappear. Yeah, it's a bit of overspray, and hopefully that's probably all you need to do. Like I say, I'm hoping that everybody is aware of it, but lots of people will be potentially picking up sort of new models with the new number plates coming out in the UK, and the last thing I would want is somebody not to be aware of that, get their new bike back, their pride and joy, polish it with a traditional motorcycle or car polish, and ruin it from the world get-go. Anyway, that's all I needed to say. Hopefully that helps somebody and stops somebody making a mistake. Thank you.